Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining the Wayne MedDirect Google Hangout. My name is Dolmini Barupala, and I am the program coordinator of the Wayne MedDirect program. It is my pleasure today to serve as one of the facilitators and also the Google Hangout moderator. This session will allow you to get your questions answered from myself as the program coordinator. And also from our admissions staff and financial aid staff and current MedDirect students. Our staff would be delighted to share their advice on how to apply to MedDirect program, the admissions process, the scholarship package that we offer, and the benefits, and also the program curriculum. Also, our students are very excited today to share their experience as MedDirect scholars. So viewers who RSVP'd to this session had the opportunity to submit questions that they would like to get answers from us today. So we will base our discussion on those questions. If you would like to join our conversation by asking questions, you can live tweet us during this session at WSU Honors. That's at WSUHONORS. And using the hashtag WayneMDInfoSession. That is WayneMDInfoSession. This Google Hangout will be live streamed at www.wayne.edu/live for you to view now, and it will also be archived for you to view later. Now we will have a brief introduction of our panelists. Each member of the panel, please share your name and your position. And students, please share your name, your year in school, and the major you're pursuing. We will start with Smitty.
Hi, I'm Smitty Panda, and I am from the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, and hopefully I can answer some questions that you have.
Next goes Giovanna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Giovanna Mohan. I am a financial aid officer here at Wayne State University. My office is located on the medical school campus in Missouri.
Your turn, Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm a sophomore and I'm part of the first cohort of Wayne MedDirect. I'm a psychology major and a public health minor.
Cedric.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cedric Mutabi. I am also part of the first Wayne MedDirect cohort 2016. I am a public health major.
So before we start with questions, let me give a brief introduction about the program. Wayne MedDirect is an 8-year BS to MD program. So we admit 10 high school graduates to the program every year, and they pursue a major in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences at Wayne State and obtain their bachelor's degree. And we guarantee their place at School of Medicine upon entry to the program. The primary benefit of this program is that we provide 4 years of undergraduate tuition and fees and room and board, and 4 years of med school tuition and fees. We will now begin with some questions that came from the reservations to this session. This first one is for you, Smitty. What are the eligibility requirements to apply to the MedDirect program?
Well, to be considered for it, a student needs to have a minimum of a 3.5 GPA, and this is an unweighted GPA, and a SAT score of 1340 or an ACT of a 30. And we really look at the composites. We're not doing a breakdown of the subjects. So any student who has this can be considered or apply for it. However, the groups that are excluded from this are transfer students and international students. So you must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident to be considered for it.
And the next question is also to you. So what is the likelihood of someone with a 3.4 GPA and an ACT score of 1080 or higher getting into this program?
Well, this is a very competitive program. So the program is going to try to stick to the minimum benchmarks that have been set, which is the 3.5 and the 30 ACT.
Thank you. So this next question goes to Cedric. Who are the best people to get recommendation letters from?
I would say some of the best people to get recommendation letters from would be people who can be real good advocates for who you are as a person. So I know for myself, that was one of my coaches who I was under his coaching for 4 years, and he really got to know me like on the field and also outside of the field as we did a lot of volunteering activities together, which me and him put on for the team. So he really got to see me as an athlete, but also as a person who wanted to pursue medicine, who wanted to do something outside of athletics. So whoever that may be, make sure it's a person who you've had a lot of like one-on-one contact with, or a person who can really advocate for you and kind of like what you stand for.
Thanks, Cedric. So the next question, I'm going to answer that. The question is, preference is given to students from a disadvantaged socioeconomic background. Does that mean that the program is excluding students who do not fit this category? So this is a common misnomer. This term socioeconomic has two components. It could be that the student is either socially disadvantaged or economically disadvantaged, or the student could be from both. So most of the time, low socioeconomic background is taken as you have to be poor to apply to the program, but that is not always true. So if you have gone through economic hardships, but still managed to excel in your education and everything else, regardless, that shows your resiliency, which is great. So please, you're welcome to apply to the program. You may have not had any economic hardships per se, but you may have been socially disadvantaged and may have had limited access to educational opportunities due to your rural location or the conditions of the community you live in, or a situation that involved you or your immediate family member, which could be a medical situation or a personal situation that affected your education. Um, or any other circumstances that limited your access to educational opportunities and created disadvantages in your social and personal life. If you still manage to excel in your education and everything else amidst of these hardships, you're welcome to apply to this program. And also, some of you may have been truly blessed not to have any social or economic disadvantages, but you may really have a strong determination to change the world through your occupation as a doctor. So you may have identified health disparities as a major issue and may have a strong interest in helping reduce them in your capacity. You may have also already demonstrated your determination and passion to serve underserved populations through your previous work. So it is true that we give preference to students from a low socioeconomic background, but remember, the most important thing is to express your true motivation in applying to this program and that your motivation aligns with the program mission. Um, and our admissions committee will review all the applications employing a holistic process, so the option to apply is always yours. Um, so the next question goes to Shabana. Since FAFSA is a required component of the application, the viewers ask how can they submit the FAFSA application.
Hi there. So the good news is that the FAFSA application is now already available. I'm going to share some slides with you so that you can see for yourself. This FAFSA is available online at www.fafsa.gov. And you will be able to submit this information online right now with your 2016 income information. And yes, you heard, I did not misspeak. It is 2016, so that you can fill out the FAFSA early and accurately. The other thing that I wanted to just say right now, because it's still early, everyone is still filling out applications, you can list multiple schools. Now the 10 schools is 10 schools at a time. So you can submit a correction and submit submit your information to hundreds of schools. Now, an update to that also is that schools can no longer see what other schools have been listed. So that's the good news. Just some general information about financial aid. This is the cost of attendance, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. But this is the financial aid estimate on how much it will cost you to attend Wayne State University for 2 semesters.
Thanks, Giovanna. Our next question is also admissions related, and I will answer that question. What are the top 10 most important factors that the Admissions Council looks at for an application? What makes an applicant stand out among the other applicants, and what does a typical candidate look like? So these are all similar questions. We employ a holistic review process to look at your applications. We look at the application as a whole, as opposed to giving a certain weight on each and every component of the application. We look at the applicant's academic achievements, and we look at the 2 essays, one saying why you are a good fit to the program, and one explaining your socioeconomically disadvantaged background, and your letters of recommendation, 2 from your high school teachers, who will give a recommendation based on your academic achievements, and also a community member who you have worked with, who will explain who you are as a person. And we will also look at your leadership skills, team activities, community service you have done, and healthcare experience. Please note that one applicant may be strong in one component than the others, but still may get admitted because we use a holistic process to review your application. And also, these review criteria will not carry specific weights, as I mentioned before. Therefore, we cannot say what will make an applicant stand out from the others who is a typical MedDirect applicant. Our students, all admitted students in our program, are unique in every possible way. So the next question goes to Maya. I am sure the majority of applicants for MedDirect have high GPAs and test scores. How can an applicant stand out from others?
Well, a lot of us did other stuff on the side of just having good test scores and GPA and ACT. For example, I interned at a hospital that was in kind of a medical disparate area where I got to help physical therapists out in helping people walk again after having strokes or other accidents like that. Some of us did research, a lot of us did sports. It just, all the things that we did after school and, you know, in clubs at school just sort of made us, it shaped us who we are. It showed that we're not just robots who do homework and study all day, that we also take the time to do things that we're passionate about. And all those extracurricular activities just sort of shape who you are. And it shows that you can be determined and motivated in multiple different areas of your studies.
Thanks, Maya. The next question goes to Smitty again. So if students are not admitted to the MedDirect program, is their admission to Wayne State University binding?
Absolutely not. The binding portion of it is strictly for the Wayne MedDirect program. Although we would love to have you choose Wayne State, you are not obligated. You may, pick other schools that you have a preference for.
Thank you so much. So, since we made the MedDirect program a binding early decision program from this year onwards, a lot of questions has been about the binding early decision commitment, and the main question was that what does it mean? So it means that if you apply to Wayne MedDirect, you're indicating that the only binding early decision application you intend to file is the Wayne MedDirect application. You can apply to other regular admissions or non-binding early decision programs, but you may not apply for binding early decision to any other school. If you are accepted to Wayne MedDirect program, you must withdraw an application to other schools And you must pay the enrollment deposit, and you must sign and return the program contract by the date specified in the acceptance letter. So that is what really a binding commitment means. With that being said, Smithy, can you please tell us what's the application timeline is?
Sure. All materials, including test scores, transcripts, and the FAFSA, they all have to be turned in by November 1st of 2017. And after that, the selection committee will start reviewing the applications. From that group, 25 semifinalists will be selected and invited to interview day. Decisions for the initial interview will be selected, and the students will be notified, and the notifications will go out to all the students by November 13th. The semifinalists will be invited to an interview day in early December. 10 finalists will be selected from the interviews. Offers will be sent out to finalists by December 15th, and the finalists have until January 8th to accept the offers.
Thank you, Smriti. Going back to Shabana, so the next question is, what is offered as the MedDirect Scholarship?
Hi there. So the MedDirect Scholarship offers full tuition and fees, as well as room and board. Now, this includes both in-state tuition as well as out-of-state tuition. So both of those are covered.
Okay. Thank you. And the viewers are also interested in knowing the student perspective about the student life. And this next question goes to Cedric. Are the current students in the program happy with their paths using this program?
I say definitely yes, and it kind of comes along with that financial aspect of it, which kind of it removes the stress of having to worry about where you're going to get the money from to pay for your undergrad along with your medical school, and it brings a sense of comfort in knowing that you have this program, you have 9 other students who are with you along this journey that help make it a lot easier. And the road to becoming a doctor isn't easy in any sense of the word. And being in this program doesn't make it a cakewalk, but having that the sense of comfort in knowing that you have all these opportunities, you have all these resources at your disposal, makes this decision of like one of the best ones I've ever made. If I can say the same for Maya, but yeah, I'd say that everybody's happy with their decision.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Cedric. And the next question is, what happens you are accepted to the program and realize that you won't be able to attend to participate in MedDirect? So this is related to the previous question about the binding early decision. Commitment. So binding commitment is really binding, and the students will read and agree to a statement upon accessing the MedDirect application, indicating that they understand the binding nature of the commitment that they're making, and they will attend Wayne State University if admitted to MedDirect. A student being unable to attend is different from saying, I changed my mind and I would rather go someplace else. Unable means that there's been a significant change in the situation, if in a way that affects your ability to pay for school or your ability to physically be present on campus. So typically, early decision binding programs allow students to change their mind due to financial reasons. Perhaps the institution wasn't able to provide them with the best financial aid package. Or maybe a parent has passed away or a family business has gone under. However, with MedDirect, the applicants cannot make that point because we are already providing you with the best financial aid package, which includes students' tuition and housing expenses for their undergraduate studies and for the 4 years of med school. So it kind of negates that argument from a student. If the student has a serious health issue or an accident, this may be a reason to allow a student to amend this decision, but that would be a very rare circumstance. So an early decision agreement is serious. So the students should make every effort to adhere to the commitment that they agree to when they apply. Um, so I'm going back to Shabana. So since we offer the MedDirect Scholarship, what are the pay out of pocket costs associated with this program, and how can the students cover the cost of books and everything?
So that is a very good question. I'm going to share some slides with you again so that you can see, what costs are covered by the scholarship and what costs are not. Now, the ones highlighted in yellow, those are direct costs that will be owed to the university, the room and board and in or out of state of tuition. That will be covered by your MedDirect Scholarship. Now, the other things that you see, the books and supplies, the miscellaneous costs, you will be responsible, to cover those costs. Now, this is just another way to show you again what those costs are. Course materials are of course a direct cost, as in you need to pay that to attend. However, they're not paid necessarily to the university. So all of your out-of-pocket costs, like your parking, your transportation, your cell phone bill, and rent, no, not rent, I apologize, and your clothing expenses, those you can use other kinds of financial aid to cover those. And when I say financial aid, it also encompasses federal student loans as well as the federal work-study program. So student loans are money that you can borrow to cover those additional expenses, or you can use a on-campus work-study experience to, and you'll receive those funds through a paycheck, to cover those additional expenses.
Thank you, Shabana. I'm going back to Maya. Is there a time for the students to participate in other activities and life outside of school, such as clubs, sports, and is there any free time?
There definitely is free time. I mean, we are still pre-med students, so we are pretty busy with classes, but pretty much all of us have found interests outside of classes. One girl in the first cohort, she's really into Korean culture, so she even started her own clubs. She's really into that, and she continues with that. She teaches herself Korean. Um, a lot of us are still participating in like intramural sports. Me and Cedric are actually part of the food pantry. We help out there. We're the food drive coordinators, and we found a passion in helping there, so we've continued with that for a bit. So there definitely is time. I still have time to hang out with friends and go home and see my family. So we all definitely have time to do things that we're interested in besides school.
Thank you, Maya. Cedric, can you also elaborate on what type of extracurricular activities, other than what Maya said, do MedDirect students take part in?
Yeah. Me and Christopher Smith are a part of the network, which is a mentor group on campus. And from there, we went on to start this organization called the Brotherhood, which is an organization specifically for minority males and helping them to build a sense of camaraderie on campus and creating a culture of academic success. There's also opportunities for, like Maya said, sports, but there's also things like for photography. I know Maya's into photography. I'm into photography. And Kishwar, one of the members of the first cohort, is a part of this fashion website which started with me and a couple of my friends. So there's just plenty of things you can do, and whatever you're into, there's opportunities for you to either start it or become a part of it. So the options are limitless in terms of opportunities for extracurricular activities, I'd say.
Thank you, Cedric. So I'm going back to a question regarding the admissions process again. Please explain the interview process. So, as Smriti explained before, we will be calling 25 semifinalists to visit the campus and also for an in person interview with the admissions committee. And alternative arrangements can be allowed to those who cannot be present for those interviews in person due to scheduling conflicts and other restrictions. Travel and accommodation will be paid by the university. An interview committee will consist of both representatives of School of Medicine and the undergraduate faculty. So after the interview day, we will notify the finalists about our decision, probably in a few business days. I am going back to Smriti again. So how can a student apply to Wayne State in particular?
Okay, for a student to apply, there are two application processes. One is the using one application is the common application, and the other is our institutional application. Student can pick to apply using either one, but we advise that they not complete both of those applications.
Okay, thank you. And how can they apply to MedDirect?
Okay, if you're completing the university application, you would find apply to Wayne MedDirect program under the link for next steps section in your application status page. So if you just go to that and just click on that, that'll take you to the application for Wayne MedDirect. If you're using the Common app, you won't find that on there. So for the Wayne Med application. However, after submitting your Common application to Wayne State, just wait a couple of days. And then once you receive your login from Wayne State with your Access ID for your application status page, you can go to the app status page at that time and you'll find the option to apply to Wayne MedDirect.
Thank you, Smriti. I am going back to Shabana. So does the MedDirect Scholarship change if a student is eligible to receive a Pell Grant?
So to answer that question, yes, the scholarship does change. Now, just to take a quick recap at the scholarship numbers again. So if you're an in-state student getting room and board and tuition, your scholarship amount for the year, this is fall and winter semester, is around $22,000. Now, if you were to receive a Pell Grant, because the scholarship amount is last dollar, so the Pell Grant then replaces some of the MedDirect scholarship. So it will, in fact, reduce the MedDirect scholarship. Now, this is also a good time to tell you that this is also the case for any other institutional merit scholarships that you will receive. So the MedDirect funds will replace those institutional scholarships, and you will not be able to get those merit scholarships in addition to the MedDirect scholarship. So that's an important factor to consider.
Thanks, Shabana. So one of the questions that one student submitted is that once they get into early MedDirect program, is a seat in med school guaranteed? Or is there an admission criteria to enter School of Medicine after graduating with a bachelor's degree? Yes, so a place is guaranteed at the School of Medicine through this program as long as you're fulfilling program milestones and certain admission requirements. So I'll explain to you what are these admission criteria. So the student has to maintain the undergraduate scholarship eligibility for 4 consecutive years during the undergraduate term. And he or she should obtain a BS or a BA degree from the university and satisfy Wayne State University School of Medicine admission eligibility requirements. This includes that they should submit an application to the School of Medicine and follow the entire admissions process, including the interviews. And they should place this application to the School of Medicine no later than the student's junior year. And they should successfully complete the MCAT exam with a score in at least the 75th percentile. So the most of the students ask, is there an MCAT requirement? So yes, there is, and you should score in the 75th percentile to get your place secured at the School of Medicine. So I'll answer another question along the same line. If the scores are not good, will they still continue to participate in the program? So that is one of the eligibility criteria to get into the School of Medicine. So you will graduate with a BS or BA degree from the university, but you will not be able to get into the School of Medicine if you don't score in the 75th percentile. With that question, I'm moving back to Maya. Um, do the students attend classes 5 days a week?
I guess it depends on their schedule and what classes they sign up for. But typically, since we're all taking at least one science class a semester, and those tend to run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are in class 5 days a week. Um, Depending on your workload and the amount of credits you have, you probably could get away with 4 days a week. But like I said, it just depends on the classes you sign up for.
Thank you. And I'm going back to Smitty. The next question is, do you accept applications from out-of-state students?
Yes, we do. We don't have any preference towards in-state applicants, and we also don't have an allocated number of spots for out-of-state students. Geographic distribution of admitted students it really is purely random.
Thank you, Smithy. This next question is for you, Cedric. How is safety on campus?
I'd say our campus is extremely safe, and we have a really good blue light system where there's these blue light stands just located throughout the campus where you hit it if there's emergency. Our police force is very active and present on campus, and pretty much anywhere you walk, you will see like a police car stationed in the area. Um, like I'm very comfortable walking like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and even if you're not, you can call our campus safety, and they'll drive you to wherever you need to go. So our campus is extremely safe.
I'm going back to Shabana with a financial aid question. Are there any requirements to fulfill to continue to receive the MedDirect Scholarship every year?
So there are a list of criteria that I'm going to show you again with my with a slide. So you do have to fill out a FAFSA every year. You do have to complete full-time credits each semester. There are GPA requirements to this as well, and this will all be outlined and reiterated throughout your contract. Now, one of the things that I will state right now, while you take a look at what's on the screen, is that we do, 12 credits is considered full-time for fall and winter semesters, but for the length of the scholarship to be done in 4 years, we do encourage you to do like 15 to 16 credits per semester. Now, this I think will be offset a little bit by the summer program. So, you'll be working very closely with Domini, but we just want you to be aware.
Thanks, Shabana. Maya, this question is for you. I'm directing this question because you're an out-of-state student. So I am not a resident in Michigan. I would appreciate the perspective of an out-of-state student. How is it like to attend Wayne State University and live in Detroit?
Okay, so I came here from California suburbs, so it is a very drastic difference. But I am being 100% honest when I say I really, really love it. I really like living in Detroit. I like the city life. Like, there's no better time to live in Detroit than now. Especially when you get closer with your cohort, it's really fun going to Midtown, downtown. I've never felt, uncomfortable being in Detroit. Every day there's more things to do. So I've really adjusted nicely.
Thank you. I'm going back to Shabana. If a student failed to meet the guaranteed admission criteria to enter School of Medicine, what would be the penalty from a financial aid perspective?
So because there is a renewal criteria for each year, it's unlikely that you'd fail to meet the admission criteria except for the MCAT, or perhaps in the final year of your enrollment. Now, if you do, for those reasons, not meet the criteria to be admitted, then there's no obligation to repay the scholarship. The same goes with if you end up graduating from Wayne State, but just with another program, and you decide not to continue within the MedDirect program, there's also no obligation to repay. We'll talk a little bit later about the scenarios that you would be required to repay that scholarship.
Thank you, Shabana. I'm going back to Smitty. Does an applicant need to wait until they get accepted to Wayne State to submit their application to MedDirect?
No, they don't. They can go ahead and apply anytime. In fact, it's encouraged that they apply to Wayne State early. And at the same time, they should go ahead and complete their Wayne MedDirect without waiting to be admitted. It should be simultaneously done.
Thank you. And can you also tell us how many applications does MedDirect get every year?
Sure. The last two academic admission cycles saw about 300 students.
Thank you. The next question is to Cedric. What percent of admitted students have taken part in research?
You say percentage?
Yes.
Everybody has. It's part of the first year experience during your summer between your freshman and sophomore year. So I believe, a 6-week program, and some people you can start earlier if you want to. You can start as soon as you get a research mentor. But a part of the experience is getting hands-on research with a faculty member in an area which you choose. And for me, I did my research in the emergency department with Dr. Phil Levy, and it was based upon public health. It was kind of like a public health HIV type research, which I started in May of the summer, and we got to present actually at a poster presentation at the end of summer. So it's an experience that helps you to expand what you know, because a lot of us, or I can speak for myself at least, really wasn't aware of too much in the area, and it helps you to broaden your knowledge, and not only that subject, but a lot of the procedures and things that go on into like conducting your own research. So that's kind of like research for our first year.
Thanks so much, Cedric. This next question is to you, Shabana. If an admitted student in this program decides to apply to different medical schools while in his or her senior year of the undergrad at Wayne, what are the penalties?
So I mentioned earlier that there are certain situations where repayment would be required. And that is one of the situations where you would be required to repay if you satisfy the guaranteed admission criteria, but then you applied and enrolled in a different medical school outside of Wayne State University. Now, the other situation that you'd be required to repay that I hinted at earlier is that if you just didn't finish, that you just withdrew from Wayne State completely, whether you stopped attending or you transferred to another institution, you would still be responsible for repaying the scholarship dollars. Now, the scholarship amount that you would be required to repay would not include any Pell Grant that you were eligible to receive, and it would not include any institutional merit scholarships that you were awarded originally. So what that means is that, and this next slide will show you. So for example, if you attended Wayne State for 2 years and received a scholarship for 2 years, and the 2-year amount, we're going to pretend it's the same amount, and realistically, those amounts could be different based on different tuition, charges based on your enrollment. But just to keep it simple, $22,000 for 2 years. Your total scholarship that you received was $44,000. But if you received 2 years of Pell, and you would have gotten a $7,000 merit scholarship, even outside of the MedDirect program, when all is said and done, your repayment amount will be approximately $19,000. So we're not going to hold other merit scholarships that you would have received against you, but at the end of the day, you would be required to repay any additional MedDirect funds that you received.
Thanks, Shabana. I'm looking at some of the questions that you submitted through the Twitter feed using the hashtag WayneMD info session. The first question is, how do USMLE scores compare to other BSMB programs and medical schools in general? So we are a fairly new program. We only have two cohorts in school right now. We started this program in 2016. Seems like we are having
technical difficulties. Whoa. The power go out.
I think somebody turned off the lights. So I'll just finish my question and direct a question to someone else. So we are a fairly new program, and we have only two cohorts in school right now. So we don't have statistics about who matriculated from the undergraduate portion and also from the School of Medicine. So we don't have any statistics about the USMLE scores or the students getting into School of Medicine. So I am directing this last question to Shabana. Is MedDirect program less expensive than completing undergraduate studies and then transferring to med school?
So that's a very loaded question because it really depends. Now, the MedDirect scholarship, the MedDirect program has a very, very generous scholarship program where all of your tuition and room and board is covered. The other thing that is really great about this program is that it also offers you tuition and fees when you get to medical school. Tuition and fees for incoming year one students this year at the School of Medicine was around $34,000, and it was around $58,000 for out-of-state students. And so I don't believe there's any program, unless there's not any program that I'm aware of that if you got into at this point, you would be almost guaranteed a scholarship at the School of Medicine level.
Thanks, Shabana. I'm sorry about the light. So late in here, so somebody turned it off. So this next question goes to Maya. What is the most challenging thing about being a MedDirect scholar, and how are you able to overcome that challenge?
Challenging? Well, what do you think, Cedric? I don't know. I mean, honestly, we're given a lot of opportunities that make our experience easier. I wouldn't say there's anything challenging. Maybe just like we are doing research, and we're going to start doing research at Detroit Receiving in a couple weeks. So maybe just to balance all those. But honestly, it's no more than a regular pre-med student would be doing. So I don't see any major challenges with this program.
I would say one of the major challenges would be kind of the expectation. Like, so you're coming in as like one of 10 in this like MedDirect program. So wherever you go, you're seen as a top level student. You're seen as a leader in the situation. You're seen as a person who is supposed to stand out. So just kind of stepping up to that level of being a premier student, so to speak, and knowing that you're supposed to be in that position, knowing that you got there for a reason. I feel like that's one of the major challenges, and knowing that you have to live up to that expectation, I feel like is one of the major challenges. But again, just kind of going through all these different experiences that they put into place for you, like this research, shadowing, international trips, like having all those experiences helps to kind of make you aware, like, oh, like this is where I should be. This is what I should be doing. So That's what I would say.
Thanks, Cedric. So I'm going to pick some short questions to answer quickly. Do college credits earned in high school count as prerequisites? No, we don't expect you to submit your college transcripts or these earned counting as prereqs. I am in the early college program with Macomb, so I have taken college classes and gained college level credits. Will they transfer over? Yes, they will transfer over and they will place you in advanced classes. How does one's race affect his her outcome of being accepted? We don't um, prefer students from a specific race or ethnicity. We don't discriminate. Average SAT, ACT scores, and GPAs of the students who got in. So the last two cohorts who got into the program had an average high school GPA of about 3.9, and their ACT score was around 32 for both cohorts. For SAT, it was around 1360. Um, with that, we are going to wrap up our discussion. So for those who may have joined us a little bit late, the session will be archived within few minutes after we conclude, and you can access the archived video on the same page as you are viewing it now, www.wayne.edu/come live. Please feel free to visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Wayne MedDirect to see how exciting it is to be a MedDirect scholar. And you can also visit our website at https://provost.wayne.edu/workforce diversity med Wayne med direct. If you Google Wayne Med Direct, it is one of the first few links that pops up. So you should be able to find this pretty quickly. So this concludes the Wayne MedDirect Google Hangout today, and I would like to take a moment to thank our panel members for joining us. Thank you for your time spent answering the questions. And if viewers have more questions or need more clarification on topics we already discussed, please email those questions to med-direct@wayne.edu. We had so many questions submitted to answer today, so if you feel like your question wasn't answered, we sincerely apologize. But please email those questions to us and we will provide answer to those questions by tomorrow. And don't forget that the application deadline for the 2018 application cycle is November 1st of this year, which is in 2 weeks. So if you have already initiated an application for MedDirect, please complete that and submit all your application material by November 1st. We are excited to see your application this year. So thank you so much for joining us today and have a great evening.